everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about your ecological footprint. I'm going to calculate mine, I'm going to show you how you can calculate yours, and then we'll find solutions to see where we're all falling short. So stay tuned. Alright, so what is your ecological footprint? Now, there's this term called the Earth Overshoot Day. So that day actually fell on August 22nd, and what that means is Earth Overshoot Day marks the date when humanity has exhausted nature's budget for the year. For the rest of the year, we are maintaining our ecological deficit by drawing down local resource stocks and accumulating carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So essentially, it's the day that we exhaust our natural resources, and then after that, we're kind of buying time. I'm a big proponent of the more you know, the more educated decisions that you can make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and find out what my ecological footprint is. I found this website not too long ago, and I thought it was so cool to be able to see where exactly you're falling short or you're doing well, and then find solutions to how you can improve as well. So let's pull that up. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this quiz, and it's gonna let me know exactly what my footprint is, what my personal Earth Overshoot Day is, and then it also provides you with solutions as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. So taking the first step here, how often do you eat animal-based products? Never. I'm vegan, so I don't eat any of that. How much of the food that you eat is unprocessed, unpackaged, or locally grown? This one's kind of hard. Honestly, this is one of the areas I could definitely improve in because I really don't pay too much attention to this. I live in a state that's all 4 seasons, so unfortunately in the winters, if you want to get specific fruits and vegetables that are out of season, then they have to come from a relative distance. So honestly, it says 30% as the same marker right now, so I'm gonna say that's probably about right. I try to use as much produce as I possibly can. I usually don't really check if it's locally grown or not. Obviously, if I'm going to the farmer's market, I know there's a higher chance of that, but I haven't done that too much this summer, so I'm just gonna keep it at 30%. Add details to improve. So how much of your diet is fresh, unpacked foods? So I'd say this part is probably closer to 40%. And then how much of your diet is locally grown? I'm gonna keep that at 30. So next question. Which housing type best describes your home? So we live in a freestanding home with running water. What material is your house constructed with? We're using concrete here. And then how many people live in your household? So I have 2, me and my husband. And what is the size of your home? So we live in about 1,500 square feet. I think it's just under. So we're at medium size there. Do you have electricity in your home? Yes, we do. How energy efficient is your home? Honestly, it's very efficient, so I'm going to put it all the way over to very efficient. So next question, what percentage of your home's electricity comes from renewable resources? Actually, let's go back to this back question. Energy efficient, passive heating and cooling, advanced temperature control and ventilation, low electricity use. Actually, I'm gonna put this, we use quite a bit of electricity because, sorry, I thought this was a different question. So we use quite a bit of electricity because we're both working from home right now. Unless it's extreme temperatures, we don't use too extreme of heating or cooling. Advanced temperature controls and ventilation, we do have a system that is very efficient in that sense as well. So I'm gonna change that a little bit. Now, what percentage of your home's electricity comes from renewable resources? And that would be 100%. So my husband actually explains this much better in a video that we did on our sustainable home tour, but we work with a company called Arcadia and they are amazing. Our bill is a little bit lower. We have a coupon code for $25 off, so don't miss that. But essentially they're a third party that works with your current energy provider in order to essentially provide your home with energy through renewable resources, whether it be wind energy or whatever is available in the area. All right, next question. Compared to your neighbors, how much trash do you generate? I also have a video on this about how I only take my trash out about once a month. So because we compost, we really don't have a need to take the trash out. Before we composted, the reason we did take trash out is because it stinks. So right now we wait until it's full and then we take it out. So considering that we take our trash out once a month and our neighbors take 2 or 3 full garbage bags out every week, we have much less than our neighbors. And then adding details. So what comes closest to your monthly new clothing, footwear, and or sports good purchases? I would say that it's not much. We don't always just purchase underwear and socks, but we bring in very limited clothes, and when we do, we try to make sure it's secondhand. So how often do you repurchase? Do you purchase new household appliances? I would say rarely. We haven't replaced anything in the house in the last 4 years that I've lived here. So electronics and gadgets, I would say, yeah, we only replace things when they're broken. Books, newspapers, magazines, we rarely ever purchase we just don't purchase magazines or newspapers. We get it all electronically, or all of our news electronically, but we do purchase books every once in a while. So yeah, I read most of the news online, borrow many books and magazines, so I'm gonna leave that at infrequent. And then what comes closest to your annual new household furnishing purchase? Once again, we haven't really bought anything new in the last 4 years or so. Our stuff was relatively new as it was, and it's in good shape. We keep pretty good care of it. So when it's new decorations, usually it's paint. As you can see, this wall really needs to be done, and I'll be doing that soon. But yeah, we don't spend a whole lot on new decorations or anything like that. And then how much do you recycle? I would say most for both of these. Some paper can't be, same with some plastic, so I'll save that. And then let's go on to the next question. How far do you travel by car or motorcycle each week? So we don't have a motorcycle, so that's 0. By car, since we're both working from home right now, it's very little. I go to work a couple times a week, or at least once a week, but I work very close to home. So including grocery trips, maybe the occasional monthly trip out of town, I would say on average in a week, I'm just gonna put it at 20. So let's do that. Actually, let's do 25 just because, or let's do 30, just to factor in potentially going back to work and not undershooting that a little bit. And what's the average fuel economy of the vehicles you use most often? We don't use that. So my car actually gets close to 40 miles to the gallon on the highway and about 35 city, or 33 to 35 city, so I'll put 37 on there. And then when you do travel by car, how often do you carpool? Honestly, we don't really live in a high traffic city, so we never carpool. If I'm already at work and we have a function that we're going to, I definitely carpool with other coworkers, or have in the past, I guess, but it's very rare. And how far do you travel on public transportation each week? Again, don't really live in a high populated city, so public transportation is not necessary for us, and it's kind of far and few between if you're not in the city. So I'm gonna go 0 there. And the last question looks like, how many hours do you fly each year? Well, obviously with the pandemic, not many people are doing much of that unless it's for work or what have you. But I would say usually we take 1 to 2 trips per year. So I would say at 6 hours is probably pretty accurate. So I'll just keep it at that. And then now it's calculating my Earth overshoot day. So looks like my personal Earth overshoot day is October 26th. If everyone lived like you would need 1.2 Earths. So that's pretty cool that you can see exactly what your Earth overshoot day is. Obviously it'd be ideal if it was 1 or less than 1, because then you could try to negate the people that are way over, but you can see details here and see where exactly your footprint is landing. One thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this is that the Earth overshoot day is August 22nd. So thinking of that, I thought that I would see something a little bit worse than that, although we didn't even make it 2/3 of the way into the year before overshoot. I thought, wow, that's not as bad as what I thought it was going to be. But then when I was doing a little bit more research, I found that you can find the overshoot days by country. Then I look up the United States, and our overshoot day is March 14th. So we can't even make it 2.5 months into the year before we're overshooting all of our natural resources already. So that's super sad. We all need to live a little bit more like Indonesia here, and see what we can do to #move the date. When it comes to the 5 indicators of what the overshoot day is or how they calculate that, we'll go to the last part of your quiz here. You have city, energy, food, population, and planet. So you can pull up each area and learn exactly what you can do better to be better. I've actually written down a few myself and how I have either improved or what am I doing in each area, or what I can do in each area to do better. So when it comes to the planet, protecting and regenerating the natural ecosystems that our well-being depends on is essential to living in balance with the Earth. So a lot of rainforests are being demolished to make room for cattle grazing. So the less cattle or animal products that you're eating or using will help with that process. When it comes to our water systems, the less fish that you're eating, the less fishing that there will be. As far as clean water systems as well, you probably heard how much plastic and crap is just in the water. So the less plastic that we're buying and the more sustainable type items that we're buying, hopefully the less that will end up in our water systems. The next one is city, with 70 to 80% of the world's population expected to live in cities by 2050. Smart urban planning and development strategies are crucial to managing our resources. So if you do live in a city, see if you can bike to where you need to go, see if you can walk to where you need to go. This is where carpooling comes in handy, public transit comes in handy. Obviously, if you're in a position of power where you can affect the way buildings are being designed and the efficient systems that are being used inside of them, please do that. You can also try to influence them that way as well. You can go to city council meetings and voice your concerns there. When it comes to energy, renewable energy is a direct path to reducing your ecological footprint and addressing climate change. So, like I said, the company that we use for our renewable energy is Arcadia. Definitely check them out. That has provided us with 100% renewable resources, and we live in a relatively rural area. And then when it comes to food, going back to my diet, we eat a vegan diet. We try a lot more to eat non-processed foods. Another thing is cutting food waste. So I actually just did a video on how to meal plan and meal prep so that you're not wasting any food. So I'll link those as well. But we also compost. So you could argue that anything that we do use isn't really waste, because everything that we eat can be composted. So if it does spoil, then it just goes in the compost, turns into fertilizer for our garden for the next year. Definitely compost, and try to reduce your animal consumption as well. Have a meatless Monday, perhaps. And then the last one is population. So addressing population size is essential to creating a sustainable future for all within our planet's ecological budget. So you can choose the size of your family to affect our long-term footprint, support women's rights, and access to family planning. Obviously, this doesn't apply to everyone, because if you have already created your family, then it's not like you're going to take one away. So I would definitely say, if you are in the process of creating a family, to just consider ways that you can be a little bit more sustainable. It says if every other family has one less child and motherhood was postponed by 2 years, by 2050 we could move the overshoot day by 49 days. So that is quite a bit, considering we have 4.5 months essentially to work with. So now that is asterisked by, if we continued as we are now, we would have at least 9.7 billion. If each mother had on average 1.8 children compared to the 2.3 children currently, and motherhood was delayed by 2 years, we'd be at 7.7 billion. Not telling you how to create your family, but obviously adoption is a beautiful thing, fostering is a beautiful thing. So if you wanted more children, maybe consider that option. Okay, so the whole purpose of this video is kind of just to show you, give you a real hard number as to what you're contributing to, as well as what the dire straits we're actually in. March 14th for the US as our overshoot day is terrifying. So I challenge you to take this quiz so that you can find out exactly what your footprint is and what you can do to find solutions on improving that, so that we can move back the date together. Let me know in the comments below if you're brave enough to let me know what your number is. Otherwise, let me know the areas where you're doing great in and what you're doing in order to be so great in that area. Or you can also share your struggles and let me know what area that you need improvement in, and see if either I would be happy to help you find a solution to that, and that way everybody else can share their solutions as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.